enemies can be. The philosophy of Watchmen might just be coyly written right there in the episode 4 title, "If you don't like my story, write your own," borrowing from a quote from author Chinua Achebe. It's worth mentioning Achebe's famous novel Things Fall Apart is about the arrival of European colonizers in Nigeria. Achebe, as scholar John Tima notes, was interested in recuperating the image of Africa in contrast to European writers like Joseph Conrad, who portrayed it as a place of savagery and barbarism. Through the character of Angela, we see Watchmen's approach to history as she learns the truth of her past and how it has deeply affected her. Her whole journey is, as Will describes it, to learn where she came from.
I wanted to meet you and show you where you came from.
She not only has to grapple with the trauma that defines her, but how that trauma seems rooted in her genealogy. In a different episode, Lady True tells two farmers that
legacy isn't in land, it's in blood. Passed to us from our ancestors and by us to our children.
Angela learns that the legacy she inherited was that of a granddaughter of a Tulsa massacre survivor. Elsewhere, we're told about genetic trauma in a support group.
I read an article. There's this thing. Genetic trauma.
While the psychic squid mass murder is fictional, the concept of genetic trauma is the real and ongoing hypothesis that stressful or traumatic experiences might alter the genetic expression of their children. Small studies of the children of Holocaust survivors, for instance, suggest biological changes in their children. But if squid survivors can beget their trauma to their kin in Watchmen's eyes, so too can the victims of racist violence. When Angela fully learns her history by taking nostalgia, it almost breaks her mind. But by the end, Angela learns not to suppress her personal trauma. As Will explains,
The what? When I put it on, you felt what I felt?
Anger.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But it wasn't. It was fear, and hurt. You can't heal under a mask, Angela. Wounds need air.
And what about Angela's heavily implied apotheosis? For a show fixated on the monstrous deeds of characters trying to become God, it seems strange to have the protagonist become one. But if we think back to time, one of the show's primary motifs, and how Dr. Manhattan experiences it, maybe Angela's arc is to experience the past, present, and future as one. To understand, as the show reminds us, that nothing ever ends. But what do you think, Wisecrack? Let us know in the comments. Shout out to all our awesome patrons who support the channel and our podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. Oh my God, Rob Core. Doomsday Clock. Oh my God, this story is so good. This first issue is everything I hoped it would be. It's an incredible start to an incredible story. I can guarantee you that. All right, so a little bit of history here. The original Watchmen comic, in a lot of ways, played out like the film. I mean, there were a lot of aspects of the film that were pretty much the same. There were two main differences between the film, and really just one main difference between the film and the comics. The biggest difference was that instead of Ozymandias detonating bombs in these different cities across the world, instead, what he did is he unleashed this giant monster on the city of New York. But the whole idea remains the same. The world, for the most part, was on the brink of chaos, that nuclear war was going to engulf everything. It was like if the Cold War between the United States and Russia never ended. And so because of that, with the original Watchmen taking place in 1985, the idea of Ozymandias was, if people cannot unite on their own, then what they need is they need a common enemy, a common goal. They need a singular banner to unite under. And so creating this massive catastrophe in the city of New York, this massive event that cost somewhere near the lives of 3 million people, ultimately united united society in a way that people never really thought before. And so what we find out in this story is that where the end of the Watchmen saw this unification of humanity, this sort of, one pact, one world kind of thing, ultimately by 1992, where this story kicks off, it had